Hi, my name is Eric Warnamunde Vertina, and I am a WPI Data Science PhD student. I'm here today to talk to you about my research, which involves predicting material properties via artificial intelligence. The specific type of material on which I work is called MaxScenes. MaxScenes are a class of two-dimensional materials, like graphene, that possess a very diverse and interesting set of properties, which includes flexible optoelectronics, solar energy conversion, catalysis, batteries, and many, many more. Why are MaxScenes important? Well, to keep it short and simple, you can make better solar panels with MaxScenes. But first, you need to be able to control, that is, predict, the physical properties. So, how do you even come up with a material or a new kind of material? Well, in my project, first, we have AI and density functional theory teams, which is a physical computational quantum modeling team, recommend MaxScenes with desired properties. Then, a lab group tries to synthesize these recommended MaxScenes. Finally, these samples, if they are able to be synthesized, are sent back to the lab and analyzed in order to verify how well the predictions worked. Now, there are a lot of different physical properties out there, and so I asked a bunch of different MaxScenes experts what properties they would like predicted. And here's a long list of them. Unfortunately, there's not enough data for many to most of these properties, so for a conference paper we previously published at ICMLA conference, we predicted 5 properties, the ones listed in bold. Here are the results. I'm not going to go into too much detail. So, how can we improve these results? These results previously shown were done with machine learning. And machine learning models do not possess sufficient capacity when data is scarce for molecular property prediction, which is where deep learning comes into play. One deep learning method we can use is representing materials as graphs, which allows us to encode more information. So how can you represent a material as a graph? Well, atoms can be represented as nodes, and bonds can be represented as edges. As you can see here on the left you have a chemical diagram of caffeine, and on the far right you have each of these circles corresponds to an atom. The different atoms are denoted by their elemental symbol inside the bubble, and then the edges connecting these atoms are the bonds between atoms. Okay, so for MaxScenes there are 10 different structure types, and you can denote the structures by repeating patterns if you draw these boxes around them. I'm not going to spend too much time with this, but each of these are distinct by the red lines where you can see certain properties. Like in this one, the red line connects these 3, whereas in this one, they don't connect all 3, and you can look at, it takes more time to look at that. Okay, so deep learning. The type of deep learning model that we're using here is called graphical neural networks, which are a class of neural networks for processing data that can be represented as graphs. And the key idea behind these is that you can update the representation of each node iteratively by exchanging information with their neighbors. So if your neighbor has this property, that can be reflected with how you are represented. There is further a type of graphical neural network model method called graph contrastive learning, which uses data augmentations to learn more robust representations of graphs. You can think of it as trying to maximize agreement between augmentations to learn invariant and discriminative representations of the data. Here's the pipeline that we have for this, and the first step is to use our graph contrastive learning method to come up with a representation model. We then transform the data set with the representation model into a lower dimensional representational space. Lastly, we feed the data that is now in a lower representational dimensional space into downstream models that included a linear model, random forest model, XGBoost model, and light GBM models to try to predict the target properties. Here are the best results that we obtained using GNNs with the downstream models of specified target properties. Now, before our work, none of these 9 target properties listed had been predicted with AI. This research affiliated with the WPI CEDAR project was supported in part by the National Science Foundation under this grant. Thank you.